Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Recruiting Board. I'm joined here by two prospects from the Destrehan High School right outside the New Orleans area with four-star DB Jhase Thomas and four-star receiver Phillip Wright. He also goes by Flash. Um, and they're both out of the class of 2025. So, fellas, how you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Great.
All right. So, how's the offseason been like for you guys?
You go first, Phil.
How the what been?
Oh, how's the offseason?
But it's been pretty hectic, with working out at school and then doing on my own working out and just trying to make sure I'm healthy and things like that in order to come into the season how I want to.
Yeah, same thing as Philip. I feel like my offseason has been pretty hectic with practice and stuff and working out and kind of controlling the recruitment process. So, yeah, it's been pretty hectic.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the journey been like for you guys? Because you guys have played together since your freshman year. You guys won a state championship. You guys look like you might win another. You guys are one of the favorites in 5A. So, what's it been like playing with each other for the last 4 years?
It's been some up and downs with us playing with each other for a few years. Of course, we won the state championship our sophomore year.
Yeah.
Freshman year, we went through the hurricane and lost in the semifinals. Junior year, we lost in the quarterfinals. So this year, we're back for to try to go back to the dome for sure.
Yeah. Same thing. Us losing and we got to try to win this year just to get another state championship under our belt. So we've been working hard at practice, fighting with reps, going one-on-one and just pushing each other every day.
Mm-hmm. And, Coach Scott has been, your head coach all 4 years.
Yeah.
And, what's your relationship like with him?
Well, Coach Scott is very tight. We could tell Coach Scott anything and come to him with anything, and he gonna come to bat for us, And then at practice, he pushes us. He sets up meetings so all of us could be on the same page, coming to football practice or school and things like that. Yeah.
Coach Scott, our relationship with everybody has a real good relationship with Coach Scott. I don't know not one person that dislikes Coach Scott. He's a very likable person. Great person to talk to on and off the field, and a great person to talk to about football, just things in general. So, Coach Scott, he always asks us like our opinions on things, and he gives us his opinions on things. And we're able to talk through things and ask what we see and ask what he sees. And he's able to correct us and coach us like we never been before.
Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you a question, Jhase. On the other side of the ball on the offense, every practice you have to go against 4 D1 receivers. And one of the talks, I've had talks with a couple of people wondering if this is one of the best wide receiver corps in Louisiana history, if not the best. So what's it like practicing against all 4 of those guys?
Practicing against all 4 of those guys, it's really good work because all 4 of them are good and they're all good at different things. So we're, in my opinion, and I feel like in everybody else's opinion, we got the best receiving corps in the country. And for sure, because you can't find the type of talent that we have anywhere else for sure. And me going against these people gets me better, and them going against me gets them better also. So it's always good work. Iron starts with iron.
Mm-hmm. Philly, what do you like to respond to that?
Yeah, just going against Jhase. He pushes us every day at practice. So, when we get on one-on-one, we got to come with everything, because he coming with everything. So, just our receiving core, we got many different pieces. And I feel like we come together as a whole team this year, we could do big things for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have to ask you this question one more again, because you are the son of Fred Thomas, a guy who's a longtime Saints player, was one of the integral pieces of the Saints team that returned from Katrina. I know you're very young when that happened, but how's your dad helped you throughout not only the recruitment process, but also developing you as a player?
So my dad pretty much coached me all the way up until I would say about middle school when so he he coached me all the way up until about middle school. He's been coaching me really hard. He showed me what college would be like and what high school would be like, especially going to Destrehan High School. Not every high school is like Destrehan. You get coached differently over here, and you get coached to be the best. Like, because they want you to leave here as a better man, for one, and they want you to leave here with a state championship ring. So, and my goal is to get more than one for sure. But he's coached me all the way up to middle school, and then recently, after my first year playing DB, when I first started, he coached me and helped me play. He showed me how to play DB and like the fundamentals, the basics and stuff. And then once I kind of got the hang of that after this season, I'm on my own now forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And Flash, I know that you're a pretty fast kid. I mean, as you could watch the tape. Your nickname is Flash, so obviously somebody gave that to you because they thought you were really fast. But the numbers show you ran a 10:46, 100 meter, 20:89 for the 200 meter, 48:35 for the 400 meter. This is all on track.
Yeah.
Because I know you're also on the track team, but then also you run a 4:32 40. So how has track helped you with your speed? And because obviously that's translated over to the football field.
Yeah, so I've been running track and playing football since I was, and after football is over, straight to track. So I'm getting in, and then when track over, I go back to football. So I feel like when you put both of those together, that speed is different. And I just been training for both just to make sure I'm straight with both. So just put in the hours every day, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's go move on to you guys recruiting. You guys are committing on Saturday. Jase, you're committing at 1:00. I talked to you, Philly. I know you're committed at 4:00. So a few hours apart. So I know so for Philly, I know that your three schools are Georgia, LSU, and Michigan. I know for Jase, it's LSU, Houston, Ole Miss, Colorado, and Texas Tech. So let's first start with the first school that I want to talk about is LSU, since you guys are both offered by LSU. Philly, you've been offered by them for quite a while now, and then Jace, you recently got your offer a couple weeks ago. So what has impressed you guys the most about LSU so far? Jace, starting with you.
What impressed me about LSU so far, the coaching staff is amazing. I definitely think LSU has big things coming for them this season. I think they should win a lot of games, and I think they'll be able to compete for a national championship for sure. What also surprised me, other than them having a really good coaching staff, because I know Coach BK always gonna he always gonna get a good group of guys that he feel like he can win with. So that's all for me, Phil.
Philly?
And with me, Coach Hankton, Coach Frank, they come with it. They get the best people from Louisiana, the best people from down south. But that coach up there is different. And me being from home, that's like a dream school to have. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Jace, I know that you wait a little while for that offer from LSU. You've visited LSU a lot. I've seen you at quite a few practices. But they were at your spring game against Carr. Well, virtually every school in the country was at your spring game against Carr. But it wasn't very long until like maybe a week or two after the spring game that you got offered from LSU. What does it mean to get offered from LSU?
Being an in-state kid, every kid that's from Louisiana wants to have the LSU offer. It is something that you get to hold on to forever and something you get to tell your family about. So it was a surreal moment for sure, being the fact that I was able to get it. Even like right after warm-ups, I was able to get the offer. Coach BK offered me in person. So it was a crazy moment. I didn't think it was real at first. It's kind of like it felt like a dream come true. But it showed me that my work has finally been noticed and people are finally recognizing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the next school I know that's on your list is Ole Miss. Ole Miss has been after you for a while. So talk about your relationship with the coaching staff over there. Also with Coach Golding, who was actually at your spring game. And then also talk about what has impressed you so far about the Rebels.
So let's start off with the coaching staff. Coach Lane Kiffin is he's probably the best, one of the best offensive minds in the country for sure. Coach Kiffin, he's a great guy, funny guy for sure. Met him a few times. And then Coach Golden, Coach Golden offered me when nobody knew who I was. So me and him have been having that relationship since day one. He was my very first offer. He gave me an opportunity when nobody else did. And he kind of kicked off my recruitment for me. So ever since day one, we've been in contact and kind of staying with each other and talking to each other since then. And then what impressed me the most about this Ole Miss as a school when I went up there to visit is just the culture. The culture up there at Ole Miss is crazy. And my dad being, since he went to Ole Miss, he was able to tell me about some of those things and how the atmosphere was at the time when he played and how different it was now and how much it's changed. So that was a crazy feeling also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, winning changes everything. So, and the next school I know that's on your list is Texas Tech. Texas Tech, they've done a lot, I know, for the program. I know Coach McGuire is a hell of a recruiter. He was a hell of a recruiter at Baylor, but then also he was a longtime head coach in the state of Texas. So talk about your relationship with the staff over there at Texas Tech. What has impressed you so far, and what surprised you about Texas Tech that you probably didn't know about them?
So, piggybacking off when you was talking about Coach McGuire is a great guy, on and off the field, like I said. A great recruiter for sure, and the facilities up there are amazing. But what impressed me and what surprised me about Texas Tech was I wasn't expecting Texas Tech to look that nice. Because I've asked a few people about the city of Lubbock and how Lubbock is, and some people say it was boring, some people say it was this, some people say it was that. But when I went up there, the fans and the people around there were amazing. So just being out there was crazy. And Coach McGuire, as a person, just made everything better. I was able to kick it with him a few times and figure out how we were able to build a relationship while I was out there for my official.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to you, Philly. I know you picked, of course, LSU was one of the schools, and now you have two more, which is, you're down to three schools, and I'm looking at your room, and you got 20, 30 posters up there, the different schools that I've offered you. But one of the schools on your top three that you'll be deciding from on Saturday is Georgia. Georgia, of course, they've been one of the top programs in the country the last 5 years. They won the national championship in 2021 and 2022, and just missing out last year on a playoff appearance. But talk about Georgia. What's the coaching staff like? How your visit's been, and what has impressed you so far?
All right, so how I got the offer was from Coach Coley. Me and Coach Coley gained that our relationship been going up ever since, and he was at Texas A&M. He offered me, and when he went to South Carolina, he offered me, and when he went to Georgia, I knew I was going to get that offer, and I was waiting, but me talking since sophomore year, and we gained the relationship, and me going to Georgia and seeing Coach Smart and all them, that was crazy. Coach Smart is one of the best coaches, in college football. Going to Georgia, ain't nothing wrong with Georgia. That's a winning program. They fight for championships every year. And, we're really impressed, the people around, going on my visit, thinking they don't know me, so they're not gonna treat me well and things like that. But they accepted me like I was already on a team and things like that. Us going out to eat and walking around in facilities and things like that. But Georgia, it is nice. They set you up for the NFL with their offensive scheme. They run the pro style offense, so I know, it gets you ready for the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about Georgia, I think they're deceptively speedy. Because when you think about Georgia, you think of ground and pound, run the football. Brock Bowers, of course, was a hell of a tight end. They've all, they've produced some pretty good tight ends in the past. But the receivers have been some more underrated players in the country, even though they probably don't get as love as some of the other players in the field. So, what have the coaches talked about how their schemes and what makes them stand up for some of the other schools that you may have talked to?
Like they said, when I went up there, they was like, everybody said, we just run the ball. But they showed me film, and they also talked, like, they use their receivers. George Pickens is one, like, first rounder. Like, they get the receivers out. So I feel like if they get a good guy, a good receiver, they're going to put the receiver in the best position to win, They move them around and things like that with the pro style. So they're able to go outside, slide, move around, and things like that. So, every program is different, and Georgia is different for sure.
Mm-hmm. Another player that also got drafted recently was Lam McConkey, who was also got drafted in the second round. So, they've been doing a pretty good job of developing the receivers. And, of course, Cortez Hankton was the receivers coach of Georgia before he left for LSU in 2022. So, Jase, moving on to you. Another school that has offered you, it was one of your top 5 schools, is Houston. Houston's made the waves in the recruiting. Obviously, they got some big-time commitments from Louisiana, Rashad Sterling, DK Mays from Central, Rashad Sterling, of course, with the Lutcher, and then also Jacob Bradford from Catholic. I know those guys have been trying to poach you to go to Houston. Talk about your relationship with Houston. Your visit there, what has impressed you, and then also what has surprised you about Houston?
So I'm gonna say this before I get started. Nothing really surprised me about Houston because that whole coaching staff was at Tulane before they even went to Houston. So I know what it was with them because they were actually one of the first schools to offer me first. Also, like my third or fourth offer. So they noticed my potential pretty early. Before I was even really touched the defensive side of the ball. So they've been recruiting me since day one. Like they really haven't changed. Like they've been showing love, been texting me and stuff like that since then. So nothing really surprised me about that. I knew they were really good people and really good coaches for sure. What impressed me when I was up there was I didn't know that like Houston was like that nice. Like Houston being in the middle of the city, all the guys, like being able to go and hang out with the guys after the visit, like the actual players, and see what Houston has to offer, like the actual school and the facility and the places around there, and going to like the places where they stay. It's just nice. It's like your dream school almost. So that's what really impressed me about the city of Houston and the school, and then the coaching staff. Nothing surprised me about them. I knew they were amazing. They recruited me from Tulane. They recruited me at Houston. So I think it was the first week they got to Houston, they offered me. So I knew what it was when I went up there.
And Houston, of course, they made the move to the Big 12 last year, and they want to make sure that they're competitive in the Big 12 by hiring Coach Fritz, who not only has won at every single program he's been at, also leading Tulane to the Cotton Bowl, which is like their first New Year's Six bowl game win since like 1940 something, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while, right? It's like maybe older than grandparents, but then also he's what's the word I'm looking for? But he's also from he also got his coaching start in Houston. He knows the area in Texas, so I know he's going to win big there. So how do you feel about playing in the Big 12 at Houston? And how have they used that in your recruiting pitch that, hey, we're in the Big 12?
They used it because any college football is competitive football at that level. So I know for a fact, even though that like it's not the SEC or Big 12 has a lot to offer. They're playing really good competition. They're playing really good players, and a lot of players get drafted from the Big 12. So it's not. There's nothing wrong with going Big 12. So they were just explaining that to me and stuff like that. But Houston itself and their team, I was able to watch them practice while I was out there. It's just really competitive. So I know they're going to win some big games this year for sure.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Philly. So The next school that's on your list is Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, you're the defending national champions. They lose Coach Harbaugh, but Coach Moore steps in as the head coach. He's not unfamiliar with the role. He was the interim for the last 4 games of the year, and has really continued. Is really trying to continue Michigan's run into national prominence. But they've also gotten 2 commitments from Jacob Washington, and Jasper Parker, both from Shaw, right down the road from you guys, probably about 20, 25 minutes for you guys. But what's your relationship like with Coach Bellamy, who's from the New Orleans area? What has impressed you about Michigan? And then also, what has surprised you the most about Michigan that you probably didn't know before they offered you went to go visit there?
All right, so me and Coach Bell, we got a lot in common. Him being from Louisiana, and then him being a highly recruited athlete too, and him leaving to go to Michigan. He tells me, don't be scared to leave home if you want to hop on a flight. It's a 2.5-hour flight, so and go back home. We gained a nice relationship, and we talked many a times, and I've been up there many a time. But Coach Moore, he's him being able to come in for 4 games last season and win, that shows he's a great coach. So I feel like coming under him, he'd be great. Yeah, he's a winning coach. He knows what he's doing. They also run a pro style offense too. Moving people to better situations to get the ball. But one thing that did surprise me going up there was the amount of Louisiana guys they got, like on the coaching staff. Like they have so many people that's from Louisiana, and I didn't know that at first. Every coach I talked to, they either know somebody from Louisiana or they was from there. So the culture there also. They're a family orientated team. They really love football up there. They're a winning program. So
Yeah, I think the thing about Michigan, I think what a lot of people don't know about is that they've gone to Louisiana a lot and gotten some big time players from the state of Louisiana. I know Anthony Thomas, who's a running back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He's actually from Winfield, which is in North Louisiana. Leroy Horde was a big time running back who's a Rose Bowl MVP. He also went to St. Aug. Of course, you guys will know St. Aug's in New Orleans. Then also their AD, their athletic director is actually from New Orleans. He went to Brother Martin. He was a big time player for Brother Martin before going on to play at Michigan. So they have a lot. Michigan surprisingly has a lot of Louisiana ties that maybe not a whole lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jhase, the last school that's on your list, and then you got 5 schools. This is the 5th and final school. It's Colorado. Colorado, of course, has made, I guess you could say, a little bit of noise. I know that's an understatement, but they made a lot of noise, but that's because when you bring in a guy like Coach Prime, there's always going to be a lot of attention towards his program. But have you gotten a chance to meet Coach Prime, and what's he like when the cameras aren't around?
Never had the chance to meet him. I was supposed to meet him on my official visit, but I ended up, just making my commitment date now, just because I knew they were going to be one of my top 5 schools for sure. Obviously, Coach Prime, one of the best defensive backs ever. So I would love to be coached by him. I know he has a lot of big things coming for him in the Big 12 for sure. They're going to be a winning team this year, 1,000%. I don't doubt that. And the DB's coach up there, Coach Mathis, we've been in contact forever. He was one of the school. He was actually one of the first schools to contact me, and then he offered me a little later during my sophomore year. So that was a cool moment.
Mm-hmm. Have you gotten a chance to visit them?
I haven't gotten the chance to visit them yet.
Yeah, I heard it's a really nice campus. If you do get a chance to go over there, but I know you haven't got a chance to visit there yet. But what has impressed you the most about Colorado since Coach Prime has gone to Colorado?
What impressed me, because I'm not gonna lie, before Coach Prime went to Colorado, I wasn't really hearing much about them. So when he went and it was his first year, so I wasn't expecting him to do crazy things, but what he did at the beginning of the season was like really crazy to me. They came out hot against TCU. I think they ended up winning, right? They came out real hot against
TCU. Yeah, it was first game of the year. Yep.
Yeah, that was a very electric game. I watched the whole entire game. So that turned my head then. And then I'm not sure if I had the offer then or if I didn't. But that definitely changed the whole recruiting process for me. I knew they were going to be in my top 5 then.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Is there any hobbies that you guys like to do? Maybe do together? Maybe like video games? What is it?
Well, I like to train and stuff. Obviously, you got to train to be good or be great. And then other than that, I like playing Warzone. I play Warzone a lot. I play COD a lot. If anybody want to play with me, hit me up. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at it because I'm definitely not like 1,000% not the best, but I can play a little bit.
What about you, Bill?
I'll be working out or I come home and watch some Netflix. I play Rainbow Six Siege or I play a little Fortnite with the guys if they want to get on. But I just be chilling for real. Go out to eat. I like eating. That's all I do. But I be chilling.
Ooh, I got one more thing to add. If anybody want to play me in Madden, I do not lose. I do not lose in Madden. If you want to play me in Madden, please hit me up. My Instagram is @Jhase Thomas. I will play anybody, and I will play you for bread. Just hit me up. That's it.
Yeah, speaking of video games, I'm kind of glad you guys brought up video games because this kind of goes into my next question. Next week, next Friday, NC Football 25 comes out.
Oh, I'm going to be a goat at that game.
Yeah. How excited are you guys for coming out? And then also, when you guys play Dynasty, who's the team you're going to be picking first?
Okay. You go first, Phil.
So look, I'm excited for it to come out. One reason is I know I'm going to be in the game soon. So, that's going to be crazy to play with myself. But in Dynasty mode, I might play with – it's really hard because, boy, there's so many teams, but I might shuffle. LSU, I might play with. I might play with all the schools I got offered by. I don't know.
Oh yeah, like Phil said, I know I'm gonna be in the game soon wherever I go. I pre-ordered it then. Like I've been pre-ordering NCAA. One of the teams I'm gonna play with in Dynasty, I'm a rebuild Grambling. I'm gonna make them a national championship team. Nobody gonna be able to beat me with my rebuild Grambling team. And I'm gonna be the head coach.
All right, guys. Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap things up?
Oh my God.
No, sir.
All right. Once again, this is your host, Grant Chachere. Make sure to follow me at Chachere Grant on Twitter and then also on Instagram, Grant Chachere. Of course, this is Jhase Thomas, Phillip Wright from Destrehan High School, both 4-star prospects. Billy, of course, is the receiver. Jhase, of course, is a DB. He plays both corner and safety. I guess I could call him DB. Also, make sure to follow Rougarou Sports Media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also make sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Once again, thank you guys for hopping on, and good luck on your rest of your season.
Yes, sir.
For sure.